He was filming himself, and he was like, well, I was singing on stage, and he was like, I'm gonna marry you, all this stuff, and then went to my meet and greet and was like, oh, I DM'd you, this and that, and I was like, okay.
It began as a symphony of love written in music and light, a story the world watched with hope. But now that melody is fading into a heartbreaking silence. Jessica Sanchez, the powerhouse voice that once moved millions on American Idol, is battling a devastating secret diagnosis. And her devoted husband, Ricky Gallardo, is bracing for a goodbye no one ever prepared for. How did the golden couple, who seemed to have everything, fame, faith, and a new life on the way, reach this unbearable turning point? The truth behind Jessica's condition isn't just a medical note. It's a gut-wrenching twist that will leave you absolutely speechless. Stay with us to hear the full incredible journey. Their story started not under the bright glare of Hollywood, but in the quiet convergence of fate in a single note. In 2017, Jessica Sanchez, already an icon known for her stunning American Idol run, was performing a small intimate concert at a church venue. The audience was mesmerized by her voice, but one man saw more than just a performer. He saw his future. Ricky Gallardo was the lighting technician that night. He wasn't supposed to be there long, but a friend's casual nudge, "You got to come back. This girl can sing," changed the trajectory of his life. That simple phrase became the prologue to their love story. Ricky couldn't shake the memory of her voice and her command of the stage. Hiding behind the lights, he watched her pour pure emotion into every song. Her presence, her grace, and that unmistakable voice captivated him completely. Days later, driven by an impulse he couldn't ignore, he tracked down her Instagram. He didn't just send a fan message. He sent a short, powerful video clip he'd filmed of her singing, completely unaware of his gaze. Alongside it, he wrote a message that was more than bold. It was prophetic. "I'm going to marry you one day." Jessica, accustomed to the avalanche of random messages that come with fame, would have instantly ignored it. But this one was different. It didn't feel like shallow flattery. It felt genuinely rooted, a quiet declaration. Intrigued and with a slight laugh, she couldn't shake the genuine warmth behind his words. Against all instinct, she replied. That single tap opened a door to a connection neither of them saw coming. Their conversations flowed effortlessly. They found a common ground in humor, faith, and their shared passion for a life well lived. Within weeks, they were inseparable, exploring music, food, and the messy, beautiful reality of life outside the stage. Their friends marveled at the perfect alignment. Ricky's calm, grounded humility was the perfect anchor for Jessica's driven, vibrant artistry. Their relationship didn't crawl. It blossomed naturally, feeling deeply right, never rushed. By the time they officially began dating, their commitment was solid, built on a foundation of respect. Jessica once shared that Ricky's steady, quiet support was her unshakable anchor. While the spotlight was loud and fame was volatile, Ricky was her harbor, offering peace and true understanding. He chose to remain outside the entertainment chaos, making him her most trusted safe Space within it. In 2021, after 4 powerful years together, they decided to get married. There were no flashy magazine covers or celebrity extravaganzas. They chose a private, simple ceremony, with just a few family members and close friends. Their pastor was available on short notice, and for them, waiting another day felt impossible. Jessica would later describe the day's simplicity as its greatest beauty. No paparazzi, no blinding headlines, just 2 souls making an eternal promise in a moment that was fiercely, beautifully their own. That day launched a new, deeper chapter. They didn't just find love. They forged an unbreakable partnership rooted in shared dreams, respect, and faith. Little did they know that this sacred union would soon face a test far more brutal than fame's glare or distance. Life was preparing to bring a challenge that no applause could ever soften. But before that crushing twist, let's trace the incredible journey that made her a household name. Jessica Sanchez's story of fame didn't start with a single audition. It was a fire that burned from the moment she could speak. Her powerhouse voice was her destiny. At an astonishing 10 years old, she first stepped into the national spotlight on the very first season of America's Got Talent. She didn't win, but that initial taste of the stage, the lights, and the roaring promise of a greater future was enough to plant the seed of her ambition. A few years later, her life exploded on American Idol Season 11 in 2012. Her auditions and subsequent weekly performances were jaw-dropping, leaving judges and a global audience utterly stunned. Week after week, her soulful, technically perfect renditions proved she was far from an ordinary teenager. Though she finished as runner-up, her voice, often compared to the transcendent power of legends like Whitney Houston, cemented her spot as one of the show's most unforgettable contestants. Fame rushed at her like a tidal wave, a blessing that quickly morphed into a brutal test. After a few years navigating the turbulent music industry, Jessica made a tough call. She stepped back. The spotlight was intensely bright, demanding perfection and constant visibility. She desperately needed to step away and rediscover her core identity, her purpose beyond the unrelenting pressure of fame. In interviews, she spoke candidly about needing to reconnect with her roots, her faith, and her love for music in its purest, uncommercialized form. This essential period of quiet reflection was critical to her growth as both a person and an artist. Her return to the stage was truly the stuff of legend. Jessica gradually began releasing new music and performing live, finding a more authentic rhythm. In a stunning full-circle moment in 2025, she made a powerful comeback by auditioning for America's Got Talent Season 2019 years after her first appearance as a child. It was a defiant display of not only her resilience, but her enduring, uncrushable passion for performance. Throughout this entire dramatic journey, Ricky Gallardo was her rock. While Jessica owned the spotlight, Ricky quietly, humbly worked behind the scenes. As a lighting technician, he had zero interest in the fame. His entire focus was on Jessica's well-being. She has constantly referred to him as her biggest rock, the steady hand that provided profound emotional, spiritual, and practical support when she needed it most. Whether it was managing the relentless travel, helping her rehearse, or simply offering a few words of comfort after a tough show, Ricky became a silent, inseparable force behind her success. But a career of this magnitude demands a price, and even the strongest partnerships get tested by the sheer, crushing weight of public life. What were the profound personal challenges and controversies that would soon threaten to shake the very foundation of their love, both under the public eye and when the curtain was drawn? Life lived in the glare of the spotlight as a beautiful, terrifying mirage. For Jessica Sanchez, fame arrived when she was still a child, burdening her with expectations that were simply too heavy. Growing up under the constant, critical gaze of the public meant every single step she took was analyzed, discussed, and relentlessly judged. When she first broke into the music world, the applause was deafening, but equally loud were the voices telling her who she should be. Jessica has bravely admitted that young fame forced her to constantly question her identity. She once confessed that parts of her soul became hopelessly tied to what other people want me to be. It took years of painful introspection for her to separate her true authentic self from the manufactured image the world demanded. As her career soared, so did the emotional toll. Jessica struggled to find a balance between her grueling professional life and any semblance of a private personal one. A challenge that breaks even the most seasoned artists. The endless demands of touring, performing, and being constantly on left her with virtually no room to breathe. Behind the dazzling smiles and breathtaking performances, Jessica was fighting quiet internal battles. She navigated a world that insisted on defining her by her numbers, her views, and her appearance. Her struggle was never just professional. It was deeply personal and spiritual. Stepping back, she reconnected with her faith, her true values, and her original purpose. She wanted her art to be honest, meaningful, and souled deep, even if that meant refusing to play the industry's speed game. Through it all, Ricky was the anchor that wouldn't budge. He gently but firmly encouraged her to rest when she was depleted and constantly reminded her that her worth was never measured by applause. Hand in hand, they faced both adoration and harsh critique, holding on to each other through every storm. But has that unrelenting strain taken a deeper hidden toll than anyone could see? As Jessica returned to the stage, carrying not just a song, but a life, what devastating truth was she shielding behind the bright lights and that famous, unshakable smile? What unseen struggle was unfolding backstage as she pushed the limits of her endurance? When Jessica Sanchez discovered she was pregnant, her world tilted in the most beautiful yet terrifyingly uncertain way. The news broke not long after she decided to audition for America's Got Talent Season 20. Initially, she kept the news fiercely private, sharing it only with Ricky and her immediate family. She needed the sacred time to process what this monumental new chapter meant for her demanding career before revealing it to the world. Months later, when she finally went public with her pregnancy through an emotional social media post and her incredible return to the AGT stage, the reaction was an outpouring of love and disbelief. Fans celebrated her astonishing strength, calling her comeback a story of courage and grace. Performing while carrying a child is a monumental task, and Jessica soon realized how utterly demanding the show would be. As her pregnancy advanced, so did her run on AGT. She competed, performed, and thrived. Even as she entered her 9th month, viewers could see her growing belly under the lights. But what radiated more powerfully was her unbreakable spirit. She was open about how pregnancy impacted her voice. Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates just like this.